Okay, so here is OK Cash. Clean chart. No labels, no nothing. I want it to be free of any of the labels from any other prior analysis. Usually that is the best way to do chart patterning and Elliott wave accounting, because a clean slate allows me to have those very infrequent but very valuable aha moments. So here we go. OK Cash has a long history. And let's just count it and see where we go. But before I count, I'm sorry, let me draw some lines. So here was a bit of a triangle. You can call it maybe roughly a triangle. Still, it broke out of it, like so. And here's another one. What a beaut this was. And you know what? It just occurs to me. Let me just get rid of this and this. So look at this. Hurry up and wait. So it hurried up on the 5 and took its time, meandered along, hammered out some kind of a bottom, and poof. This is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. When you're looking at these similarity indexes, that's the kind of burst out explosion I'm talking about. I mean, it's uncanny. You can't miss it. You gotta be half blind to not see this. The similarity index is high as possible. I can't see it going any higher than this. And this is only 4 charts. I can probably give you 40 more or 100 more that bears a pattern like this in a symmetrical triangle or cup and handle pattern. Those are the 2 most common types on the similarity index that I'm seeing. So this is what I'm expecting, an explosion up as they start. A trend reversal doesn't end with one explosion. It has multiple explosions upwards. And I think this is exactly what's going to happen to bit shares. The similarity index to this on OK shares, and here is bit shares, is uncanny. You can't miss it. And it's well primed and ready to go. And you're going to see this. I mean, a geyser explosion is what I call it. You're going to see a geyser. I don't know if you've ever been to Yellowstone Park in the USA to see the old faithful geyser. It explodes. And in the explosion after this ABC, next is a impulse. And based on the hurry up and wait syndrome that every cryptocurrency, even Bitcoin, has, a genetic trait, in my opinion, a genetic imprinted trait throughout every cryptocurrency is this hurry up syndrome and a wait syndrome. The hurry up is when it does an impulse of 5 waves, it doesn't waste any time. It's like a monkey climbing up a tree. And then during the correction, it just takes all the time it needs. Slow, very lengthy, lethargic. Sometimes in some of the coins it's so slow, it goes for months. It's like molasses flowing outdoors in the middle of February. That's slow. But once this geyser explosion price happens, none of the cryptos are going to waste their time inputting in the next 5 waves. So I can't tell the difference almost. It's uncanny. So that's pretty much what's done, what's happened. Now, here's 1, 2, 3. I think 4 will be put in, and 5 will be next. So let's start counting now. I'll just start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always forget to put and check for the correct degree of trend. Sometimes I've caught myself labeling the hourly chart with intermediate degree of trend labels. So I just have to check that to be consistent. This is my degree on a daily, okay. So we have 5 ways. What happens after 5 weeks? An ABC correction. And I've forgotten again, I should be doing this intro to new followers, new readers to my blog in the beginning of the session, but I just get into this too quickly and dive head into it. So let me back up a little bit. I want to welcome all the new readers. Every day I get a good number of new followers. And if this is your first time coming into my blog and reading my analysis, I welcome you to go through the past 5, 6, maybe 10 days of postings. Believe me, I'm like a machine. I crank these out at 6, 8, 10, sometimes plus 20 a day, depending on how many updates are needed. And the objective of my blog is to help and do no harm. My objective is to see if my analysis can help augment your due diligence. And I use Elliott wave analysis, intricately combine it with chart pattern recognition. And I use, in this case also, my favorite indicator, MACD. And look at this curling up, getting bullish. It crossed over here. You should have been almost fully laddered in when this crossed. Okay, 80 to 90% of your ladder rungs, the buy rungs, should have been filled by now. Except for maybe the extremities down here that would have placed. This is very bullish. Okay, and this isn't going to stay here too long. It'll consolidate. Absolutely. And when you're looking at it, when the consolidation does come, it's already going to change, but I think it's going to be an ABC down maybe to here. Not required though. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then even at the degree, at every degree of trend, whether it's daily, you're going to see the hurry up and wait. When it's hourly, you're going to see the hurry up and wait scenario. No degree of trend will escape that syndrome of cryptos. So let's bust it out. It's going to be like a popcorn. Let's say I have 4 of this. Imagine there's like 45 of these charts with all similar pattern. And let's say each chart represents like a single kernel of popcorn. And you start heating the pan up, you're going to see a pop. Pop. Maybe 2 pops. Pop, pop. And as the temperature rises, I think this is a good analogy. As the temperature rises, you're going to start seeing more popping like this. So last week we saw BCH pop, right? Now we're saying okay, cash popping. And then soon, as the temperature rises, you're going to start seeing a lot more popping in concert. Pop, 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 just like a popcorn. And that is the popcorn snowballing effect that you will most likely see in this one final parabolic topping off process that you're going to see throughout the cryptosphere, I believe. And the degree of climb in the price will vary. it'll be silly if every crypto altcoin went up the same percentages or to the same dollar value. It just doesn't work that way. Similarity doesn't mean precision in being identical. No. Similarity is pretty much what you're looking at here. So here is MACD. Today, there was a little bit of wiggling going on in BTS BitShares. There you go. So, sorry to go back and forth, but in a way, it doesn't matter. They're all about the same pattern anyways. So whether I'm showing you BitShares or OKCoin, it doesn't matter almost, because of the very high similarity index. It's like telling two neo-identical twins what they look like. It wouldn't matter which one you use as an example, right? So, but anyways, let's go back to BitShares here. There's a low and a lower low. So A and C. C has to be lower than A, of course, in an ABC, whether it's a zigzag or flat. Now here, MACD is low but higher. This is very interesting. This is called a divergence. And it is bullish. Look at this divergence. You cannot say this looks absolutely tempting and delicious from a profit potential point of view. It is. It is. That's why if you have 100,000 to 2 million or more coins of BitShares, and if you do, and if you have followed my advice, and it goes vertical, should not heal, okay, should not deal, but in time, many fold up. But even if it goes to the old price of 58 cents, I mean, that is, the return on that is, should be giving you a big ear-to-ear grin, even at that level. Okay? That's an 11-fold. That's a 10-bagger. Peter Lynch always said, I read his book a long time ago, one only needs just a few 10-baggers or 20-baggers to have a very luxurious, comfortable retirement. Well, you got one right here, from a potential point of view. Soon to be probably a reality. And if you do get here, and you get well beyond this, to $1.20, you better send me a nice freaking beer. No, forget the beer. You better send me like a very nice Kentucky bourbon pappy. A glass of that is like $70 a shot. That would be sweet. Okay? So this is very exciting time. Ladder in. You should be almost fully laddered in by now. And if you make it to $1.20, you're looking at a 20-bagger. A 24-fold increase. Okay? And if you had a lousy, 100,000 coins, you're looking at $2.4 million. Kind of let that sink in a little bit, guys. I mean, I don't know how much more to kind of stress this besides knocking people over the head with a club on this to drive the point. So if you have a lousy $5,000 and buy yourself 100,000 shares of this and just sit on it for a little while, right? And it goes 24-fold. That's $2.4 million. I mean, forget the Kentucky bourbon. You better get me like a Tesla or something. I mean, no, I mean, all joking aside, I'm very, very excited about this. I'm extremely serious about this. Now, consider the risks to reward. You've got a massive, massive divergence, positive divergence of your MACD here, where it's making a higher high, but the price is making lower low. That is a classic sign saying this wants to go and explode upwards. This wants to become a crypto geyser. I'll make a new coin with that, I guess. Hedging crypto geyser coin. Okay? Now, I'm talking about mid-shares, and it really doesn't matter. Okay? This, too, is showing a phenomenal bullish cross of the MACD. 5 waves shall lead to 3 waves. I feel like a Lord of the Rings movie now. 5 waves shall lead to 3 waves. Like that. Now, there are some of you out there who are criticizing my accounts, and I appreciate that. It's well put and all. And I can't remember which one chart it was, but didn't look like exactly like a 3-wave ABC. Okay, it maybe looked like a 5-wave, but I labeled it as ABC. And I think someone commented saying you can't do that. It doesn't look like a 3-wave. Well put, well said. But bear in mind, I combine my pattern with Elliott waves. If the pattern has more emphasis of confidence, I will make that 5-wave into a 3-wave. And believe me, you can. Okay? So here is wave 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'm going to call it AB, ABC. That's what I'm doing. If you disagree with it, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You win. You can count it the way you want. Okay? I just have my way of doing it. If the pattern gives greater confidence in the call, I will allow a certain degree of leeway to have my count fit that pattern. And it can go vice versa. It can go vice versa, where I can sometimes cut off the very top price part on my line drawings. Okay? So that's just the way I do it. And if you don't like it, you're more than welcome to do your own analysis, and that's good. Do your own due diligence. And only allow me to augment it. Perfect. So let's count this. Where can this go? One, two. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 will go to here, I think. So here's it got stopped by this bunch of resistance. This might be 3. 5. Okay. Now bear in mind also, these 5 waves become subwaves to higher degree wave 1. And let's go back a little bit. These 5 waves become subwaves to a higher degree. Higher degree of trend, wave 1. And this ABC becomes wave 2. That's why I always say best time to get in is the terminal end of wave 2, because after wave 2 or terminal end of wave C, because after that there's a trend change, just like here. Now these 5 white waves will be wave 1 of 3. So like so. Oops, sorry. So you're looking at, and this is going to look a little bit messy, but what I'm doing here is 1, 2, 4, 5. Minor degrees, keep the lines. So 1, 2, we're putting in right now the subways of 1. 2 will happen, 3, 4, 5. 3 will be placed. Okay? And then there will be a 4. Do you see where I'm going with this under potential? Holy cow. And then a 5. Do you see it? So 2 buckaroos, currently 34 cents. That would be equivalent 6-fold, about. Very nice. Very bullish. Very sweet. Very appetizing. I mean, this is extremely delicious. And if I and this or this, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So, what you want to do is look at my past blogs. There's one reason why I'm putting the targets and profit potential values. I will never go and say buy this, buy that, buy it here, whatever, except on the high impact trades. And that'll cover me for whatever by the disclaimer that I put in. But go back and see which one has the highest profit potential and put some in those to get the maximum bang for the buck. I also want to go back to, while I have you guys here on the video, this GBTC. This is where I recommended in the range of 648 to 684 was the ladder to build. And when I was low as 488. Yeah, I rode this from 300 to almost 1,000. And then I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5th wave, I exit. On the terminal end of the wave, 5 of 5. Or 3 of 5 here. I try to get out. I knew it was coming. That's again the power of technical analysis. So the way again on this GBTC, some people are calling this trash. Some people are calling it a scam. The arbitrage is a scam alert. I couldn't give a shit. What I look at is just pure the analysis that I provided here. This is exactly how I look at it. I saw a fractal. Look at this symmetrical triangle and a 5-wave up. So here's a symmetrical triangle. I drew 5 waves up, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The only difference is this time I raised the target to 2150. The reason why I raised the target to 2150 is I think Bitcoin can escape this. into an escape velocity to maybe 15,000. If Bitcoin goes to 15,000, this is going to be maybe 6,000. But I don't want to talk too many ifs right now. I want to talk more on the Elliott wave trajectory and the price pathways. And you can buy GBTC through any stock exchange. Whether it be, I don't know, Ameritrade to TD Ameritrade, that's what I got. Or you can use Fidelity. It's a publicly traded stock, equity. Phenomenal opportunity. 838 was the high. That's about almost 30% from where I had been recommending it. So here was the ABC. So you got 5 here. Here was the ABC. This is where you ladder back in to come back into it. And then let it ride. But you know, after an ABC, the original trend resumes. So back to OK cash. Bullish.